Let's look at combining filter conditions. In the last unit, we took a look at how to filter via equality operators. For example, filtering where the outbreak group is education or workplace. But it would be useful, say, to answer the question, give me a list of all outbreaks where the setting was either education or workplace, and I want those in the same file. So remember, we have the OR operator. So we can add an OR after our education equality check on the outbreak group column, and we can test to see if the outbreak group is equal to workplace. So to filter our data frame using multiple conditions, we have to use slightly different operators instead of AND and OR. And these are the Pandas logical operators. So to combine our Boolean expressions to filter a data frame, we use slightly different operators. Statements built using these logical operators are tested from left to right. And we can change the order that we evaluate these expressions using brackets. Our two major operators are the AND and OR operators. First is AND. AND will return true if both sides are true. So say you have variables A and B, or say you have columns A and B. If the expression A and the expression B both return true, the entire expression A and B returns true. As soon as either A or B is false, the whole expression returns false. We also have the OR expression, and this returns true if at least one side of the expression is true, or if both sides are true. So for example, if A is true and B is false, the statement will return true. If A is false and B is true, the statement will return true. But if A is false and B is false, the whole statement is false. So here's a way to visualize how AND and OR work. So if X and Y are false, then the statement X and Y will be false. Notice how it's false all the way down to both statements being true. And for OR, as long as one side of our OR is true, the entire statement will be true. So let's combine filter conditions. We want to test for outbreaks in education or workplaces. We're going to use the OR operator, and we can use this after our education equality check on the outbreak group column and test to see if that outbreak group column is equal to workplace. If we want to use multiple conditions, we have to put each of our comparisons in brackets and then combine them using our logical operator. So for instance, our new filter condition is our first filter condition in brackets. So we're asking where data of outbreak group, the outbreak group column is equal to education. Or our outbreak group is equal to workplace. What's this backslash character? This is to say to Python, this second line is a continuation of the first line. And then finally, we create a variable education or work outbreaks, and we filter this data frame by our filter condition. Let's give this a try. We'll come back into our Python file. We'll create a new variable called filter2, and I'm going to put my first filter condition into brackets. This is where data outbreak group is equal to 3 education. I'll put in a new line character to say this line continues on the following line. Then I put in my pipe character, OR. And then in brackets, I'm going to put my next filter condition, where data outbreak group is equal to 4 workplace. Now, before we go on, let's take a look at this variable. What have we created here? So filter2, again, gives us, this is a calculated column. And it will be true if the outbreak group column for a particular row is either equal to education or equal to workplace. And if we open up the original data frame, we can do a quick spot check and confirm for ourselves we've got the right condition. So the first row in our data frame has an outbreak group of workplace. Our fifth row in the file has an outbreak group of workplace. And our sixth row in the file has an outbreak group of education. So we see true, false, 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 true, true, false. We've got the correct filter condition. And now we can have our filtered data frame. Edu or work outbreaks equals data filtered by filter condition 2. And we see we have 17,189 rows. We only have rows where the outbreak group is equal to workplace or education. So again, we're getting rows where the outbreak group is equal to education or the outbreak group is equal to workplace. Now let's export our education or work outbreaks data frame to a CSV file. All we need to do is do edu or workplace outbreaks .to_CSV, and we'll call this table 1b edu or work outbreaks .csv, and index equals false. If we run this file, we will now have our education or workplace outbreaks exported to a CSV file. 2 filter conditions down, 3 to go.